Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back for another YgoPro duel video. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup. First match of Group G, so 4 matches remaining here in the first part. And then it's all the way back to the beginning. The first 2 decks here, Perfect Circle from all the way back in 2007, late 2007, is paired up against Gravekeepers. So 2 old school decks, 2 somewhat slow decks. So this should be somewhat of a long matchup. But yeah, the first deck to see here is, if I'm not mistaken, this should be Jerry Wang's, again Jerry Wang, his Perfect Circle / Destiny Raidas build, featuring Light and Darkness Dragon over the Zaborg, also featuring a Spell Striker, nice attack from Jerry here in this deck list. But for me, this is pure Perfect Circle, featuring the Wing Blast, the Crush card and the triple Ryza. The second deck list we have Gravekeepers from 2010, and this should be Fraser Smith's deck list from back in 2010. First place from, I believe, was it the Shonen Jump? No, it was YCS, but not really sure which one. And if I'm not mistaken, the new card for Gravekeepers, which was their Sangan, I believe it's called Recruiter, was released back then, recently released, and then I believe 3 out of the top 4 decks were Gravekeepers, and I believe all of them were friends, and they all went with the same car to the tournament. So yeah, some cool information. But which deck has the advantage? Well, I think Gravekeepers should have the advantage here due to Necro Valley, and you know Necro Valley kinda craps on all the grave effects like Avarice, like yeah, Premature Burial, Call of the Haunted, etc. So let's hop into the first duel. Right, so the first duel, and I think I get to start. This is a good hand, opening with 6 cards immediately does shoot my opponent's hand to get free information about my, oh yeah, the whole hand of my opponent. Have a useless Destiny draw in my hand, but thanks to Sangan, I can potentially search out a Destiny draw target. I have both Brain Control and the Monarch, the Ryza in hand, and back in the old school days, Brain Control / Soul Exchange followed up by a Monarch was one of the best 2 card combos back then. We knew, I believe, thanks to the Dust Shoot, that he had the Book of Moon, so I think I have to activate Brain Control to force out the Book of Moon so I can freely Ryza his monster back to the top of the deck. But here I make a mistake. I should have Gold Sarked for a Mystical Space Typhoon for a possible Necro Valley. You know, Royal Tribute, or yeah, Necro Valley in general is just too good against this deck in particular, blocking all of those yeah, grave effects like Treeborn Frog, Premature Burial, etc. But my thought process was, okay, I can potentially search out Stratos to make that second copy of Destiny Draw alive, or if needed I can search out the Destiny Hero Plasma paired up with the Scapegoats. But anyway, yeah, the Spy set was something we could expect, but again my mindset here was to eventually, yeah, if needed, made a Crush card live with the Fearmonger, and then thanks to the Necro Valley boost, both his monsters would be destroyed. Thanks to the Spy, of course, the second monster. But again, that Recruiter, searching out another Recruiter, and again, no outs for that Necro Valley. I believe here I still main deck the Heavy Storm, but I'm not really sure how many copies of Mystical Space Typhoon are here in the deck. Phoenix Wing Blast is, of course, another out, but again, a useless Fearmonger, a useless Avarice, and a useless top-decked Call of the Haunted, so it doesn't really look too great. An out here could have been the Plasma. Then again, we see here in his back row, he has Bottomless Trap also. Top deck into, again, a useless card, Foolish Burial to send the Treeborn from my deck to the grave, but again, Treeborn is hindered due to Necro Valley. Again, he pops my back row with, what is it, is it Commandant, I believe, that pops cards, and it's also not once per turn, by the way. Yeah, Assailant. No, it's not Commandant. Anyway, Assailant puts my goat into attack position. The Treeborn is negated, and then there is the Plasma. 1 turn too late. But again, he does have Bottomless Trapple in his back row, and now he should be able to attack for a game. So it started off really well for me, but again, that Necro Valley took me by surprise, kinda. So second duel, again, I get to start. This is a good hand. Immediately search out the Disc Commander, have the Wing Blast in my hand, so I can send that Disc Commander from my hand to the grave immediately on the attack declaration. Wing Blast to get rid of his Necro Valley, and then his monster will lose the attack boost. Again, there is the first copy of Necro Valley, so I'm going to use my Call of the Hunted for Pot of Greed / Destiny Hero Disc Commander. I'm going to keep the Ryza in hand. Ryza could have been an option, but I think Breaker was a better option. You know, Ryza can also spin that face down, possibly set Spy, so that's why I kept the Ryza, and also because of the Brain Control again. Brain Control followed up by a Monarch is such a strong play, especially for old school decks. First going to attack to get free damage. I mean, if the opponent is going to somewhat like Sakuretsu or Dimensional Prison, it's a +1 for you. Back in the day that was pretty much relevant. Use Premature Burial again to get 2 draws, again the perfect circle combination, the perfect circle engine coming through with Ryza again, somewhat locking my opponent with his draw phase, or at least I give him that useless card again, which in this case is the Dimensional Prison, indeed. Get Malicious on board, immediately get a Light and Darkness Dragon, the huge ass beatstick on board, and always negating the first card activated, so Chainlink 1, and then its attack will, and defense of course, will be dropped, but again I can attack for game, so some nice slow duels. The opponent gets a start, and a slow start on this part, but maybe here I should have just soul exchanged Ryza to get some initiative, to get something going. I mean, yeah, to have somewhat like a field. You as you see here, you really don't want to let the Gravekeeper player flip his Spy, search either their Recruiter or something else, Descendant, you know, the somewhat exiled force alike card to get this engine going. But yeah, now I'm going to Soul Exchange to run into Compulse, kinda blows, since now I do have to use my Mystical Space Typhoon to use Spell Strike effect, so banish a spell from my grave, and again, try to get some initiative going, get some field presence going with Ryza here, but again, it doesn't really look too great. Okay, I have 3 Born, but if the opponent has access to Necro Valley, I'm kinda screwed, especially with the Disc Commander and then the Pot of Avarice again, somewhat sitting dead in my hand, and there is a Necro Valley. It was just a matter of time, right? Yeah, draw into the reinforcement of the army, go to search Stratos, but again, I don't really have an answer. I can potentially search out Plasma, but again, his commandant is not once per turn, but I believe he just wants to keep the Spy. Not really sure why he doesn't activate his Royal Tribute here, but in the end it's not going to matter too much. He does use his commandant to pop my face down monster, and now he's just able to attack for game. So that kind of blows Necro Valley, definitely the match winner, but again, in today's format even Necro Valley is such a strong card, somewhat of a floodgate card against a lot of decks, but I think this was a great match. Really long match, but Gravekeepers definitely deserved this one. Next match, 2 big names, DDDs, are going to take on Satellite, so definitely stay tuned for that. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.